United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we will reconvene in the open meeting. So when do they do that? Do they do that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Student
Okay.
discipline.
Oh, yes.
We'll go in open session. And then
Oh,
we'll vote on student discipline.
Okay.
Motion to approve
Motion to approve going into open session
the agenda.
and the agenda.
I'd like to make a recommendation, a motion first, Madam President. Recommend approval of the consent agenda with the following change. The board agenda with the following change. Removal of item 8A, memorandum of agreement between Danville Education Association under 12.8 salary schedule advancement for qualified interpreter. That's my motion, to remove that item from tonight's agenda.
Do I have a, okay, first and a second that we have, and a recommendation to approve the, agenda except for item 8. Thank you. Roll call vote.
Ms. Payne?
yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mr. Warfield?
Yes.
Mrs. Pam?
Yes.
Dr. Holler?
Yes.
Mrs. Collins?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. We do our discipline hearing now?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam President, I recommend upholding the findings of the board in case number 26, 2011.
Thank you.
Who's that?
Oh, somebody second?
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Dr. Holler?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mrs. Pam?
Yes.
Mr. Warfield?
Yes.
Mrs. Collins?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0, upholding the findings of the hearing in the student discipline case. Do we have public comments? Nobody? Okay, thank you. Business and Finance, recommendation to authorize the issuance of property tax abatement recommendation. And we have invited a couple gentlemen from the city to come answer questions, give us an explanation of what we're asking of our public, essentially, asking our board, but it's representing our public. So at this time, I don't remember their name.
David and Logan?
Yes. Can I just call you Dave and Logan? Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Thank you and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. You just wanted me to give a brief summary, or?
Would you please, because I would
Yeah.
think that most of our listening audience wouldn't know about what the tax abatement is.
Yeah,
Madam
well-
President, just to be a point of order, we
Yes,
just
sir.
need a motion and a second to be able to have debates so we can talk. We can't get information first without having a motion and a second.
I will entertain a motion to listen to a recommendation from the city on the tax abatement.
Second.
I'll move.
Move and second.
Okay.
Roll call vote.
Discussion first.
Oh, discussion. Now you get to
Okay.
talk.
So
Oh my gosh.
thank you, first of all. I'll try to keep this brief. So essentially, I'll tell you what the enterprise zone is. A lot of people that haven't utilized it really know it even exists. So the enterprise zone has actually been in the city of Danville and the surrounding county areas since the early 90s, as far as I can trace it back. And essentially what it is, it's an economic tool for commercial business and industry mainly to have state-funneled incentives that are available to the municipality and the county as a whole. In the city of Danville, it offers a couple of different incentives. It's complete sales tax exemption for building materials, half-price permits, and the big one, which is what you're considering tonight to support, is the property tax abatement. and it only comes into play is when a investment is made and it's stair stepped from, I might miss these numbers a little bit, but it's $0 or $1 to 999,000 is 25% abatement for 10 years. From that point on, $1 million to $10 million invested is a 50% abatement for 10 years. And then anything over 10 million is a 75% abatement for 10 years. Now, when I say abatement, it's not abatement on what the current assessed value of the property is. It's only an abatement on the increase. So the more money the developer spends, the more of an abatement they're likely to get off. So, for instance, a developer invests $100,000. Let's just say the taxable value typically doesn't work this way, goes up $100,000. The abatement's only going to occur on that added $100,000 of value. The school district would still receive the current taxable rate and taxable amount. That would not change. And what's being proposed tonight is outside of the city of Danville limits, and it's an expansion of this enterprise zone. It's on the northwest side of Newell and Bowman. It's 50 acres there, and it's to expand the zone just for that segment. And there's a piece of strategy there. It's much more simplistic to expand a zone on one parcel than it is to do per se two or more. Whenever you go and you do 50, 60, 100 parcels, you have to go through a very lengthy state legislature process. If you just pick one, then the turnaround is a week or two instead of 6 months to a year. Okay, so essentially what the city of Danville right now is trying to do is expand our potential for development. Why do we care? Well, the city of Danville and our municipal limits is running out of shovel-ready ground for large-scale development. And this site is pretty ripe for that. So that's the proposition. There really is no negative at play here because the taxable value will exist. It's farm ground right now, but it will exist. And if something is built there, there will still be a tax brought to the school district and all taxable bodies. It just will be abated for 10 years at let's just say, for the scale of development that we're looking for, 10 million is or more is what we're shooting for in this scenario. So look at it as 75% for 10 years. And then after that, all of the increased property tax value goes to the taxing bodies. Does that all make sense?
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Just in reviewing this, I was just going over the map that was included with that.
Mm-hmm.
And just to clarify, the existing enterprise zone that we have outlined here, the red line all the way around that, that's not what's in question. It's really just that piece that is northwest of the airport.
That's correct.
we're
That
looking at.
large piece showing all of the county, that's the existing enterprise zone. The only piece that we're requesting to expand to is that northern parcel. That's correct.
50 acres.
50 acres.
50 acres, okay. And then, second question, so for the abatement, I do see where it's in here, over 10 million, 75% for 10 years, but also in section
then-
2, it shows that the property tax abatement for any non-residential, so commercial or industrial project, shall be 75% for 10 years, but then an additional 50%
Yes.
abatement for years 11 through 15.
Correct. So I apologize for missing that. What's different right now, the current incentive is 10 years for property tax abatement projects in the current zone.
Okay.
Adding an additional 5 years and stair-stepping it down to that 50% is just that added push to get a developer to go on the property.
Okay, and
Yes.
again, just for those 50 acres that we're looking at.
That's it.
And then, and maybe I'm misreading it, but just to clarify, in this resolution, it seems like the language is talking about the Illinois Enterprise Zone Act and the Danville-Vermilion County Enterprise Zone, which to me looks like it's all the existing that's outlined. It's not specifically talking about the addition.
Yeah.
Does that need to be changed, or are we gonna have some issue with that if we approve it as is?
Yeah, I would have to seek clarification on that. The way it's been described to me, and I do apologize, we have consultants helping us get through this statute. The intent of the ordinance or resolution is just for that parcel.
Just for the addition?
Yes, correct.
But that isn't what you're asking us to vote on.
Mm-hmm.
and help me understand how, a lot of times when you have abatements like this, people can use some inflammatory language. It might sound like inflammatory to you, but it is a form of corporate welfare in some people's opinion, because corporations that aren't really hurting for money are going to take money from little school districts like ours. Tell me how you would counter that argument.
It would be countered likely. I can't put words in their mouths, but I'll give you a project as an example. I believe the FedEx facility that was developed out off of Lynch or Borgen Drive. These big players, they pick and choose across the country on what the best incentive package is possible. It's not if they will be offered an incentive package like this, it's who's going to offer it. And they're just going to play the game in their advantage and just not choose to come to Vermilion County or Danville if they don't get this type of incentive. So we're trying to combat that. So I use FedEx as an example. We are competing with, right next to the airport over in Indianapolis. It's hard to beat that.
So did this board vote on a FedEx abatement?
No, that was already in place.
Okay.
So yes, they would have.
Years ago.
They would have put the enterprise zone in place for that to occur. But FedEx
Years ago, though.
Years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the long story short of it is I don't believe they would have chose to come to the city of Danville if that enterprise zone abatement didn't exist.
Even though they're billion-dollar corporations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Can you help me locate this piece of property?
I mean, is it on a corner? Is it-
Yeah. It's directly on the corner of Newell and Bowman on the northwest corner. So just go past the airport and before you turn right where you turn left of Newell.
So Walmart is to your left. Well, Walmart is to the
Walmart's off to the
Walmart's
west.
west,
That's
yeah.
correct.
I have the tax map here, and it looks to me that the people who get the taxes now are Bismarck Henning School District.
Correct. Yeah. So it is Bismarck Henning. Every single taxing body that touches the enterprise zone, even down in Tilton, Westville School Board had to approve this as well. So every taxing body has to approve this resolution for it to pass, regardless on your direct impact. It's a great question.
So Danville does not get any tax revenue from this now.
No, correct.
Has Westville voted?
They have.
What did they vote?
They voted to approve.
Okay.
so essentially, we're abating zero.
Yeah, as of right now, but as state statute reads, everybody that touches it.
Okay.
That's to avoid having to go through larger periods of time of waiting to go through the law, to do it this way, right? To getting just one little patch added, you don't have to go through more hoops. You
It's
just have to get all of us to vote yes.
well, the way that I have been described it is truly just to speed it up. It's a timing process.
Did Westville vote for this exact resolution as it's written today?
Yes,
Okay. Do you know what the vote was?
I believe it was unanimous.
Okay.
Any other questions? You did a nice job helping us understand
Thank you.
what it is we're looking at, so thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Anything to add? Nope. Okay.
Thanks.
So at this time, we'll have a roll call vote. Ms. Lakeisha, thank you.
Mrs. Court,
Yes.
Mrs. Tam,
Yes.
Mr. Easton,
Yes.
Mr. Warfield,
Yes.
Dr. Holler,
Yes.
Ms. Payne,
Yes.
Mrs. Holler.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much, and good luck. Good luck with it. Yes. Thank you.
If you have $100 million property there, can you get that in our school district?
If you could just squeeze 10% over the line, something, just a little bit.
We're doing the amended Carl lease? Yes. Okay. And you have that?
Who owns,
Okay.
yeah, who owns the property?
At this
on the
time,
south
we'll
side?
discuss the amended Carl lease agreement. Mr. Hart.
Good evenings. So several of us from this
from the Board of Education, met with Carl Clinic. As you know, we've had a great partnership with them, and we are currently leasing the building up north with the option to own. During our conversation, we obviously have a desire to own that building quickly. Or quicker. So during that conversation with Carl Clinic, they actually agreed to lower our lease payment to them. So our monthly lease payment will drop from $540,000 a year to $250,000 a year for a 2-year lease with the option to buy that property at the end of those terms. So I give that to tonight for your consideration. And so I think you're probably looking for a motion to approve the lease.
That would be correct. I'll entertain the motion to
I'll
approve.
move.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
It's a lower price, so that's good.
For sure.
Thank you, Mr. Easton.
But I still hope, and I know we've talked already about this, I hope that we'll have a better plan for the Carl Building laid out before the board, especially before we consider any major renovations. But I think I'm saying what people already are thinking, so that's all for me.
I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to Marty, what's his last name?
Smith?
Marty Smith of Carl, who is a wonderful partner and is an absolute supporter of our vision for pre-K education and how else we could use the building. Whenever we have gone to him with a request, he has entertained our ideas and our thoughts. And so I would like to say thank you to Marty and to the Carl organization for their cooperativeness. And with that, I have a roll call vote.
Mrs. Town,
Yes.
Mr. Easton,
Yes.
Ms. Payne,
Yes.
Dr. Howard,
I'm going to recuse myself because I work for Carl Health.
Mr. Warfield,
Yes.
Mrs. Worley,
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson.
Yes. I just wonder whether I should recuse myself too, but I don't work for Carl, so. Okay. Motion carries 6 with 1 abstention. Thank you. Okay, and at this time, a couple weeks ago, our district administration directors presented to the board the district improvement plan presentation. They worked a long time putting it all together, all of these directors. They did a good job helping us understand, as a board, what we're looking at for the district. And in an effort to be transparent with the public, which we have promised over and over again that we will, we wanted to make this presentation. It's shorter than what we got to the public. So at this time, the administrative team of directors will make a presentation on our district improvement plan.
Good evening. We're going to start with introductions so we can get those out of the way.
Thank you.
Markeisha Parker, Associate Superintendent.
Good evening, Kim Papps, Director of Human Resources.
Hey, Justin Thorlton, Assistant Director of Human Resources.
Good evening, Molly Bailey, Director of Special Education.
Chris Rice, Director of Early Learning.
All right, thank you for your time this evening. Like you said, we had a nice study session not too long ago, but tonight we're here to give a quick review so that everyone in the public can hear what it is we are up to these days. So I'm going to start again. My name is Kim Papps, Director of Human Resources, with the mission statement, and that is to ensure that all students in District 118 reach their fullest potential. We then have our vision statement to equip every student with the knowledge, the skills, and support needed to succeed in college, in career, and life through personalized learning, targeted support, and whole child development. Our theme is ready for college, ready for careers, and ready for life. We have 3 SMART goals. The first one is around our state assessments, and that is to increase the number of students that meet or exceed on state assessments by 10%. Our second SMART goal is for attendance. That's chronic absenteeism will decrease to 25% or less. And our third goal is SEL, and it's to utilize a multi-tiered system of supports to provide appropriate interventions to improve building culture and student interaction, as evidenced by a reduction in suspensions and expulsions by 15%.
Thank you, Ms. Pfaffs. Justin Thorlton again, talking about our district WIG. That means wildly important goals. So what we're really focusing on as a district administrative team is standard 3. It's improving teaching and learning. And what that reads is it ensures training, development, and support for high-performing instructional teacher teams to support adult learning and development to advance student learning and performance. Essentially, we as district administration want to support building principals so they can go back to their building, support their teachers, who in turn will, meet the mission of ensuring our students reach their fullest potential.
So I'm going to start with talking about Illinois' Vision 2030. So we'll kind of start as a funnel, if you think we start, and we'll drill down to what we do at the district level. So this is Illinois' vision for the promise of public education. So what is Illinois' Vision 2030? So it centers around keeping students safe, keeping high-quality educators in front of kids, enhancing post-secondary success, and improving measurements of what is working. And so they have 3 key features, and one is future-focused learning, shared accountability, and predictable funding. And I have a brief video. It is brief. It's a minute and a half. I would like to pull that up really quickly, and then I'll highlight a few things from the 3 components of future-focused learning, shared accountability, predictable funding, and then we'll move on to how it aligns with what we're doing at the district level.
Educators are preparing students to succeed in a world of constant innovation. The job a student will have in the future may not even exist today. So, what's needed to help students thrive in a world of unknowns? Vision 2030, a blueprint that prioritizes future-focused learning, shared accountability, and predictable funding to advance K-12 public education in Illinois. Future-focused learning means giving students a head start on post-secondary success and providing them with learning environments that are safe and secure. Imagine a world where all students are introduced to emerging career fields, discover their passion early, and earn college or vocational credits in high school. That's a future where student loan debt is less of a burden and everyone graduates ready to shine. Shared accountability means redefining student success. Just like children's physical growth, academic progress does not always happen in a linear manner. Both growth and proficiency should be measured over time to see how they're really doing. Benchmark data should be shared with teachers in real time so that quick interventions can be put in place. Lastly, school districts need predictable funding. Schools need to be able to rely on receiving full funding based on the evidence-based funding model and have the flexibility to allocate restricted funding streams towards urgent life safety needs. This is Vision 2030. To learn more and express your support, visit IllinoisVision2030.com. Together, we can fulfill the promise of public education in Illinois.
Right, so I have a few slides that will highlight some priorities for the 3 categories. And so the first one is future-focused learning. And so basically what that means is Vision 2030 is looking to reshape our schools and classrooms by redefining student success to reflect and prepare students for all the different ways that the world and economy continues to change. And so under this category, they have 4 priorities for the future. And so they want to promote future-driven skills, allowing for more college and career exploration, enhancing safety, student safety and well-being, of course, recruitment and retention, wanting to retain high qualified and diverse educators, and then just promoting our curriculum and instructional flexibility so that we're meeting the unique needs of our local community. The next category was focused on future-focused learning. And so thinking beyond annual standardized tests to more fairly and effectively measure student success by considering both growth and proficiency over time. And so their priorities for this category include reforming the Illinois assessment system so that it's more timely and the measurements are useful for us to utilize. Reform the current accountability system to provide local flexibility for identifying indicators that create a more holistic view of a student's success, and then reforming the mandate process to ensure that the implementation procedures are more flexible and that we have some local decision making. And then the last category is predictable funding. And so providing excellent educational resources and future-focused learning opportunities for student success requires long-term, predictable, and sustainable funding. And so some of their 4 priorities for this would be protecting the integrity and funding of the evidence-based funding formula, strengthening public education through pension reforms, establish equitable statewide funding sources for capital and safety needs, and enhancing financial flexibility for all school districts. And so with that said, as a district, we are asking the board, our Board of Education, we've already reviewed Vision 2030 with them, but we're asking them to adopt a resolution tonight in support of Vision 2030 because as you'll see tonight, the work that we're doing here at the district level aligns with Illinois' Vision 2030. So we do have a resolution tonight that we are asking that the board signs in support.
Could I clarify, could I ask for clarification, Ms. Parker? For our audience, could you please just give a brief description of evidence-based funding?
Ooh, you gonna put me on the spot tonight, Ms. Mallory? I may need Mr. Hart for that.
Just quick.
So I know there's a formula. It's like a
we don't need to know the formula,
Right.
but
So you
Why
put
it's
me, I don't
important.
know the exact.
So it's based on the school district, the makeup of the school district. It relies heavily on students most at risk through poverty is basically, and so you're either you're tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. We are currently tier 2 with the population that we serve, so we do receive more money because of that way. So the more at-risk students you serve, the more funding that is given to a particular school district.
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Rice.
Oh, you're good. Like Mrs. Parker said, as part of that Vision 2030, it's really, looking at the assessments and reforming those because we want to make sure that things we do are focused around students and are driving us in the direction that we want to go. And any of you that have kids in our district, you probably hear them talk about all the time, like we have so many tests, test on this, test on that. But our assessments have a purpose. There's different types of assessments. We have our benchmark assessments, which we utilize 3 times a year. It's just a quick screener. It's a fall, winter, and spring benchmark. It gives us information, baseline data to start our year. It tells us where our students are, and we start to put together a plan as educators on their deficient skill areas and how we can move forward. Formative assessments. These are the things that will be tied to our curriculum. We follow our history book, and there's a test at the end of the chapter that goes with a certain unit. So those are more formative assessments. Our summative assessments can be things like performance-based, portfolios, hands-on activities, another way of just evaluating our students' progress. We know that there's many different learning platforms. Students learn different ways. And of course, what we unfortunately sometimes are judged on is those state assessments, which are kind of a snapshot of how our students are performing on various different assessments. Looking at Fast Bridge, we talked a lot about that during our study session and trying to gain some insight into that. So in our district, students that are in the content areas of reading and math will participate in the Fast Bridge assessment. Like I said, that is something that they take 3 times a year. It gives us that baseline data. And what we start to do at the building level is looking at those deficient skill areas. Where do our students need extra supports? This is what that Fast Bridge assessment gives us. So we'll utilize that to form intervention groups, more small group instruction, what we can go into more depth during our core instruction, but to make sure that we are teaching the things that our students maybe don't have mastered yet, have not mastered specific skills. This will help identify some of those areas and give us a focus on those areas going forward. And how we tend to use it, is we want to see students wherever they enter our classrooms at the beginning of the year. We want to make as much growth as possible. We want our students to reach their fullest potential. So we use that data to kind of guide how our students are performing. Are they trending in the right direction? That FastBridge data will give us some percentile ranks of our students. It's a lot to understand, but students that will perform near that 60 percentile, so they're outscoring 60% of their peers, not just Danville, but all districts across the state that participate in that. It gives us kind of a composite score as an indicator of students performing at that level will tend to meet or exceed on state standards. So when you talk a little bit tonight about our district goals, building goals, we're kind of working towards getting students to that 60 percentile or higher so they can meet or exceed on state standards.
Good evening. So part of our work is obviously to make our schools safe and our students to be socially, emotionally prepared and regulated to join college or career once they leave us. And part of that work is our social emotional learning. So not only are we teaching skills within the classroom, utilizing Second Step and other resources, we use positive behavior interventions and supports, PBIS, to teach those behaviors and also celebrate those positive behaviors. So for the kids that are doing the right thing, we are acknowledging that. But a big part of it's teaching it as well. I think sometimes people hear PBIS, they think celebrations. There's a lot more to it. And then, of course, you have to measure that. So we utilize data to make decisions, providing those interventions and what celebrations, maybe I can tell you that in an elementary school, November is a tough month. I don't know why, but it always was, and so we always put a celebration in at that time. So one of the things that the teams are looking at on a monthly basis is skyward suspensions and expulsion data. This year we're asking them to look at the number of incidents, the number of students involved in those incidents, the number of days we have students out for suspensions, and we always look at IEP students. IEP students are held at a different regard, and we only have 10 suspension days for those kids, so we really have to monitor that very closely. Another program that we utilize is Swiss, and it's basically a part of PBIS, and it's just a place to put that data. The great part about Swiss is what you can utilize. So I'm using here this. Okay. Our teams utilize the Swiss dashboard. So we can look at referrals per week. We can look at certain behaviors. We can look at, is it certain students? Is it staff members? What time of the day? What location in the building? And without being able to utilize all that data, it's hard to make decisions in your building. So that's how we knew, okay, November was always a rough month. Or we usually know that Thursdays is a rough day because people are tired by Thursdays. Teachers have excused things all week, or the kids are just tired, and sometimes Thursdays are rough days of the week. Lunchtime is often, but you would expect in most buildings, classroom is where most of your behaviors come because that's where kids are most of the time. So it's important for us to utilize all this data so that we make the best decisions so that we can reach our district goal of a reduction in suspensions by 15%.
Mm-hmm. So what do we do with all this data? We have a lot of different things that we use to, track our students, make sure that our students are moving in the right direction. How do we determine the goals we do? How do we determine what are the SMART goals, where our students need to focus moving forward? And we're going to talk a little bit about how we come up with those goals and why certain things are weighted the way they are. One of those is attendance. And you can see on here, students in our district, we have chronic absenteeism. So a chronic absent student would be any student who's missing 10% or more of the school year. So in a 180-day school year, a student who misses 18 days of school would be considered chronically absent, or 10% of the days enrolled. So if I had a student that came in at the end of this first quarter, we're hitting the end of first quarter next week, and they've missed 5 days during a particular quarter, they're trending that direction. So if they've missed more than 10% of the days in which they've been enrolled, they would still be on track to be chronically absent. Why is that a big thing? We have a chunk of our school improvement, our designation scores, is based on student attendance. Now this data that you see up here on the screen is based on fiscal year 24. Our fiscal year 25 data will be made public on October 30th through the Illinois report card. So this is still looking at last year's data, fiscal year 24. But 35% of the students in our district missed 18 days or more of school, or 10% of their school year. If kids aren't here, it's tough to learn. So it does have an impact on, our content areas of instruction as well. Yes.
Does that include if someone is sick?
So yes.
Well,
So that 18 days to be considered chronically absent, doesn't matter the reason. If you have so many excused absences, those still count against you because you're not in school. If you have unexcused absences, if you have a suspension from school and you're out 6 days, that's 6 days absent. If your family decides we're going to take a vacation a week before spring break, and those are days that we're in session, those are days absent. So once they hit those 18 days, you count as chronically absent. The state average, this is something we talk about at the state level. The state average across the state is 25% of the students, still very high. So when you see our goals in a minute, we're always trying to compare ourselves to the rest of the state, be ahead of the state. That's where that 25% comes in. I will tell you, it's not official yet, but our fiscal year 25 data, as we, principals go through this all the time. They want to know what, where they are, where they're trending. We are moving in the right direction, and we'll see some gains on our chronic absenteeism this year. How do we determine, our attendance, and what can we do to support that? And I feel like our district has hit the ground running with this the last few years. We've put so many supports in place, and this is why you're starting to see some of the gains that we're making across the district. Our district initiatives, to improve attendance. First thing we've done is we now have home liaisons that work in every building. Every building's got a person who helps bridge that gap between families and school, between home and school. So we can work with students on what do they need to get to school. We don't want it to be a punitive thing, which is like you're missing X number of days, and there are always to be consequences. We want to look through a lens more problem solving. How can we fix this? How can we help you improve attendance and get to school? Our home liaisons in our district are amazing. They transport students, they assist families with doctor's appointments, making those connections, providing transportation, utilizing our school vans to help with students. So that's had a huge impact. We're creating some consistencies in our attendance letters and how we're looking at attendance. Last day of every month, letters go home to any student who's chronically absent or who's trending that direction. So parents are notified, with our attendance goals, how many days that their child has missed, and we'll start to set up attendance meetings at the building level to meet with families and start to improve that. We have a partnership with the Regional Office of Education, a truing officer who works not just for Danville but the county. But I just met with Mr. Corey today, and he is meeting with the schools on a monthly basis too. He'll meet with the attendance staff to identify students who are trending in that direction, who he can meet with, and then he holds meetings with students. I know he held 25 meetings with students at Northridge the other day on students who were tracking in that direction. So once again, just being proactive and having the conversation, letting kids know we want you here. How can we help relieve those issues so that you are here every day? Kind of tying into our SEL and attendance and tying it all together, putting those incentives in place that give students a little extra encouragement, to get to school. And we spend a lot of time with our instructional leadership team. Principals will report to us on a monthly basis what their attendance is, and we start looking at it from the district level. How are we trending? Those numbers look great in August, September. By December, you start to see all right, they're climbing. We got to develop a plan to get us through those winter months. So what determines, this is my favorite part, what determines, if a school is designated? Okay, what determines, we take these tests every spring, what determines if our school's performing well or if we've got struggles and we need to make adjustments? It's really, I want to show you two charts. This one's for the elementary middle school, so this would be like our K-8 students. It's a 100-point system, and you want to gain as many points as you can to improve your designation status. 75% or 75 points of that designation score comes from academic indicators. What kind of growth, how many percent of our students are making growth in ELA and math? ELA is 25 points. You want to earn as many of those 25 points as you can? How many points can you earn in math? It doesn't mean that students are meeting and exceeding state standards. That's the end goal. That's where we want to get them to. But when a student comes into our third grade classroom at the beginning of the year and they take the state assessment in March, how much growth did that student make over the course of the school year? Those are the stories to celebrate. Those kids are closing that instructional gap. We get 25 points for each of those content areas. The proficiency in ELA or math, that's 7.5%, 7.5 points in each of those categories. That is the students who are meeting and exceeding state standards. So even though that's what we want to accomplish, you can see the important areas are just our students are growing and closing that instructional gap. That's the end goal. Science test, they get 5 points in that area. One key note, if you're a K3-4 students in a K4 building, they don't take the science assessment. That's more for our 5th grade, 8th grade, high school. And so therefore, like at the elementary level, that 5% is divvied up over reading and math because they don't take the science assessment. And I like to call it the free points. The 25% is just going to, indicators that we have a little more control of. Our chronic absenteeism. If we can get our students ahead of that state average, they can earn up to 20 points. So we're earning that just by kids coming to school. And then, of course, our climate survey, our kids that participate in that climate survey, we get 5 points for kids participating in that. And that's giving us, from a kid's perspective, what kids feel like we need, what are their challenges, really good information that we also utilize. This chart is Danville High School. It's very similar, but I'll point out a few differences. Once again, this would be information based on their ACT assessment as well as some of these other indicators. 75 points again, even at the high school level, that's getting designated based on academic indicators. 7.5%, 7.5 points for students that hit a certain level on the ACT and ELA and math. They do have the science proficiency, 5 points. But the huge indicator, and Mr. Bretz has been amazing at turning our district around, earning some of this points. But our graduation rate is 50 points of that 100. A few years ago, and our graduation rate was much lower than what we wanted it to be. I believe it was reported at 70% on fiscal year 24. When scores come out next week, Mr. Bretz has made huge gains, almost 10% in our graduation rate in a short time. So that's going to have a huge impact on our designation score. English learners, just their progress towards proficiency status. So as long as our EL program, those students are making growth as well, we're earning points. Their 25% chunk also has some different indicators, but it's just weighted a little differently than we showed at the K8 level. Chronic absenteeism only counts for 10 points towards the high school designation score. Their climate survey is 6.6 points. And we get a lot of points just for our 9th graders being on track. That's really good data when we look at our 9th graders, because if our freshmen are on track, earning the credits they're supposed to be earning at the end of their freshman year, where's that going to have an impact on graduation rate in a few years? We know if we can get them off to a good start, odds are we can get them to graduate and we'll earn those full credit hours. This comes out to us this month, the month of October, and all the principals will be logging in all the time, looking for their house, ready to see them, look at their house and how many points we got. This is an example of one of the elementary buildings in our district, so it kind of gives you an idea of how all these areas that I just talked about kind of become entwined and added together. So you'll see on here ELA proficiency. There was, because they don't take science, it's 8.6 points possible for them to earn in like ELA proficiency. This school got 2.2 points of the 8 points possible. Same in math, earned 2.4 points of the 8 points possible. We said the heaviest weighted areas are growth in ELA and math. This school earned 13 of a possible 28 points, 11 in math. Their chronic absenteeism was a little over the state average, so they earned 2.6 points of the 20 points possible. Every student in the school took the climate survey, so they earned 5 out of the 5 points possible. When you add all those points together, 37.45 points. So 50 seems to be the cutoff. It always adjusts a little year based on numbers, based on what your bottom 5% of the schools in the state are. That number fluctuates a little bit. But our goal is to hit at least 50 for that composite score. If we can hit 50, it's a good chance we'll be in commendable status. Won't have to go through all of these school improvement requirements. This is a school, one of our schools that's in designation status. Looks very similar at the high school level. We add those points and they get a house just like everything else. I do want to come back to the goals because there's a reason when Mrs. Papps went through our goals, why our goals are the way they are. We know what the state's looking at. We know how we're being monitored. So that determines how we make our district goals and how that in turn buildings will try to align with our district goals, and we're all in sync. State assessments, you see goal number 1 up there. We want to increase the number of students that are meeting or exceeding on state standards by 10%. That's some significant growth every year if we can do that as a district. That's in the content area of reading and math. SMART goal 2 is our attendance. We want to be below that state average. If 25% is kind of the target, that's where the state is. 25% of the students are chronically absent. We want to be ahead of that mark, trending in the direction to earn as many points as possible. And then our SMART goal, our SEL goal, just using that MTS system of supports, we want to reduce behaviors so kids are engaged, doing the things they're supposed to be doing in the classroom. They're here, not out of school for out of school suspensions, and we know that students learn better when they're here and in our seats. 2 more slides to show you. I just wanted to give a quick example of what our school improvement plans look like. This is a district plan, so you will see on this district plan, I got to pull out my copy because there's no way I can just read that small print. But, when I look at these different headings, so this is our district, and the goal I chose to share with you here is SMART Goal 3. So the number of students that will meet or exceed on our state assessments, we want to improve by 10%. That's one of our SMART goals. You'll see adult practices, assigned staff, who's going to help us monitor this. How will we monitor this? What's our timeline? What's going to be our evidence? Because everything we do, we want to be able to measure to see if we're making progress or not. An adult action, adult practice here. An example would be, we are going to utilize a data system to analyze our data to improve student outcomes. We want to know how our students are performing. We want to be able to track that data. The assigned staff for this particular adult action is the director of curriculum. How will we monitor it? By looking at our implementation drivers, our implementation outcomes, timelines over the course of the school year. What kind of evidence are we going to utilize to see if we're meeting that goal? Our assessments that I talked about on the first slide. IR, FastBridge, ACT, attendance data, behavior data, all of that stuff comes together. From the district standpoint, we always kind of look at it from our instructional leadership team, like our instructional leadership team, the principals are our classroom. We want to help principals to become instructional leaders. We want to guide principals in what they need to do to be more effective in their buildings and to have an impact on instruction. One of those wigs, like Mr. Thorlton said, we just want students learning. We want our principals to be those instructional leaders. The next slide, you'll see it looks very similar. It's our final slide. This is just what a school improvement plan looks like at the building level. You can see it mirrors what we're trying to accomplish at the district level, but it will be more specific to that school's needs based on this assessments, the areas where they are deficient and what they need to do to close their instructional gap. What needs to happen at Northridge might be a little different than what we have to do at Southview or DHS. So we want these goals to be within our district vision, but still aligned to what the school is trying to accomplish. This particular one is for Northridge, and you can see their goal. It's not so much 10% growth on state assessments, but 25% of students at Northridge will score at or above 60 percentile on the FastBridge. So why did they utilize that goal written that way? Well, we said 60% was kind of the indicator to track if our students were going to meet or exceed on state standards. That's what they would score at on FastBridge. So this will allow Northridge will take that test 3 times a year. They can track their trending data and see how their students are progressing towards those spring assessments. Just give you a couple examples. You'll still see, the adult action, what's the timeline, who's going to administer these things. Northridge will utilize the district math coach and curriculum facilitator to review and apply best practices and methods in core instruction. We have all of our students together for core instruction. How do we need to teach whole group instruction to make sure kids are progressing? Who's going to provide that? The teacher, the math coach, the division leaders, ongoing throughout the year. So now, when we talked about working with principals are working with the teachers. That's their classroom. Teachers are working with their kids. That's their classroom. So it all comes together. Like I said, the end goal is we want our school improvement plans at the district and building level to mirror each other so that we're all on the same page and moving in the same direction.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Kimberly Papps, Director of Human Resources again, and I'm up here to present to you a job description first.
We need to vote on Vision 2030.
At this time, I need to,
I've got a motion to do that. I could do that. I was skipping ahead. Okay, I'll do the district improvement plan presentation we just had. At this time, 7A. We're looking for a motion to approve the Illinois Vision 2030 recommendation. There you go.
I'll second.
Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Mrs. Holleran,
Yes,
I
sir.
just want to draw attention, of course, it's a public document, but I think the part of the resolution that is, obviously, you all did really great. The part that I think is important to point out publicly is the part where it says this. I'll just read it so you don't have to read the whole thing. Whereas it is imperative that any education improvement proposal for comprehensive change must be developed and supported by not only the education community, which is who you all are, and the board, of course, but in collaboration with families, communities, businesses, and others whose priorities reflect the best interest of our students. It's a really great plan, and we have some really great people who are a part of it, and we're attaching ourselves to others across the state, but we really, especially on things like attendance, we need parents to just help us. We can, that seems so easy, Mr. Rice. It just seems so easy. And yet, our community struggles so badly at meeting that. So I just want to point that out publicly. I know they might not be listening, maybe they are, but I don't want to preach to the choir, so that's all I have to say.
Roll call vote.
Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Warfield?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mrs. Holland?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. And thank you, team. It was well done,
Excellent.
condensed nicely, and it was good to hear it a second time. So appreciate it very much.
Okay, now it's
Ms.
my
Papps.
turn. I was really trying to get us going, wasn't I? Okay. Let's go on to 8B, Human Resources, first reading for a job description that is titled Supervisor of Operations. This is not a new position. It is an updated job description. And again, it's just the first reading tonight.
Questions? Okay, first reading, so. Right, thank you. And item number 9, we need approval. We're approving ourselves. That's good. Approval of the Board of Education to attend the State Joint Annual Conference in Chicago in November, which happens every year, and it's the really only time that the board has an opportunity to go and listen to speakers, to learn some things that we didn't know, to sharpen things that we did know. It's a real good opportunity for us to go away and do that. So listed is every member here, because every member is planning to attend. So I would entertain a motion to allow us to travel to Chicago in November for the joint annual meeting.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Questions, concerns? Roll call vote.
Mr. Warfield?
Yes.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Dr. Holland?
Yes. Yes.
And Mrs. Holland?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. We'll report back about what we learned, and we usually have great speakers, and we'll give a short report afterwards. Informational items, we will start with Superintendent John Hart.
Thank you. The Danville High School Band of Vikings competed on September 27th at Normal at the Marching Band Invitational held at Wesleyan University in Bloomington. The Band of Vikings earned third place in Class 3A. They also received caption awards for Best Color Guard and the Best Percussion in Class AAA. So congratulations to the Band of Vikings. I want to mention that we've been able to work with the Danville Public School Foundation to secure some laptops for our students who are enrolled in classes at DACC. So thanks to Stephanie Yates agreeing to purchase, and the whole foundation paid for 60 laptops that have been sent to be recycled. So they purchased those for $1 for us. And it kind of gets us some access that we wouldn't have without this lease agreement. So our kids are able to access online classes in the portal through DACC. So thank you for the Danville Public School Foundation for supporting our move, our progress, our purchase. How's that? I just wanted to say, Mr. Gary Gritton, the Danville High School Athletic Director, very beloved member of our District 118 family. We mourn his passing and extend our sincere condolences to his family and the healing of our educational community. I would also like to say kudos to this community, to this school district. It's been a long time since I've seen a celebration that was the outreach was huge. Everywhere you turned around, there was a Mr. Gritton sign. There was a celebration. There was a moment of silence. Again, when we have to, this community really pulls together and supports each other. So, my condolences to the family, and thank you.
Thank you. Board comments. Ms. Payne?
I really don't have any. I want to wish good luck to the Danville High School Vikings for homecoming on Friday.
Thank you.
Well, I'll definitely second that for the Vikings homecoming on Friday. We want to win, so I'll be there to support. I also want to say thank you to our directors as well for coming and really sharing this information. I know when we had our educational session, and maybe it's because I'm a newer board member, but I was blown away with the depth of detail that you really look into to make sure you're doing what you should be for your students. So I appreciate that. I absolutely support that, support the teachers, the principal, and staff. So continue to do that. So.
Thank you. Ms. Town?
I would just wanted to point out, in that whole presentation, the attendance portion, sometimes we don't think about all the people that make up our district, but a home liaison, I happened to run into one somewhere, and listening to all that they did, I'm just, amazed, and we're blessed that we have people that care so much in our district, and that goes from our custodians to our top level. I'm happy to be in this district. I know my kids have just graduated, and well, the last one has, but I still feel I am a part of this district, and I'm proud of that. And even to the point where my daughter was a 2020 graduate, and she was a valedictorian. And for some reason, I went through, she couldn't say her speech to everyone. It was recorded, and I was looking through some things this week, and it's very odd in the timing. I found her speech, and she pointed out, among other things, all the great things she had in her 4 years, and one of them was pointing out a few teachers that she acknowledged as being impactful, and one was Mr. Gritton, who she had for a push, and she talked about how valuable and just how highly she regarded him and her whole class, and the last sentence of her speech was, time is valuable and life is precious. and this was in 2020. And I just think this week, I just needed to say that, because I know we have a lot of healing for our district, and we value everyone, and we all know everyone's life is valuable, and that is why you put so much into your work, because every child is valuable, every one of you as an instructor and anywhere in the district is valuable. And I also had a mother and a grandmother a few months ago that weren't sure if they were going to be putting their kids in this district still. And they wanted to do the volunteer sign up at Northridge. And I wanted to just say that they had an open house, and on Sign Up Genius, they have had a lot of parents come and volunteer at Northridge, and that is very successful. Thank you, parents, for stepping up. As Mr. Easton said with the attendance, that's important. Our parents need to step up, and they are doing that at Northridge. They go at arrival, dismissal, and lunch times, and they are making an impact, and they are showing the students, not just their own student, but the whole student body, that they are there and they care about them.
Thank you. Mr. Easton?
I just want to say, yes, happy homecoming. I hope we win Friday, but I just hope everyone has a safe time at the dance, and I look forward to seeing all of the pictures. It's going to be great, and just be safe. That's all for me.
I wanted to bring up for a moment a community collaboration that I'm a part of, and now District 118 is a part of as well. For the last several years, I've had a personal organization called Trees for Danville, and that has mushroomed isn't the right word, I guess. Blossomed is better because at least it'll be a tree. But the city has a committee that is called Community Roots, which through those two organizations, the city applied and got a grant from the federal government for $1 million. Now, most of that grant will go to city property trees and maintenance of them. But there's a substantial portion that will also go to planting trees on public property. Just so happens that Danville High School is on public property. And so that makes us eligible for a substantial chunk of that money. And I wanted to bring it up tonight because if you are driving by, walking by, looking around, there are white flags here and there are also some utility marker flags, which means that something's happening fairly quickly. Tomorrow is the first of 2 loads of trees that arrive here, one for DAC, which has a similar plan and similar program actually, but one for us at Danville High School. And the decision through the collaborative efforts of the administration and many other people who have worked and are participants in the school is remarkable. And the plan is to make the campus of Danville High School be more of a campus. In other words, to have many more trees, shady areas, and green it up all around. And with that in mind, I'll just say that this project over the next couple of or 3 weeks will result in about 250 more trees being planted on the extended campus of Danville High School. So actually I didn't start as a pitch for help, but if you guys want to pitch in, that would be just fine. Just contact me. You know how to get a hold of me. Anyway, not to make any light of it at all. I think it's a remarkable thing. It's a reflection of the community collaboration that it will happen, and it'll have its lasting impact for decades.
So they haven't started planting yet?
Tomorrow.
This past weekend, Northridge Middle School students Brooklyn Johnson, Erwin Watson, and Lashaya Lillard were chosen to be in the Junior ACDA Honor Choir at Bradley University. This is a choir made up of over 100 students from about 11 different schools around the state. They rehearsed all day and performed in the afternoon. They also had to learn and memorize all the music in a week and a half. This is also the first time that Northridge students have performed at this event. Congratulations to these students. It's pretty impressive.
Thank you, thank you. I echo, good luck to our Vikings for homecoming. It's been a fun week at the high school. The kids have had a good time. I also echo Mr. Easton's comment, kids, be smart on Saturday. Continue to have fun, but be smart. And then I also want to echo some of the comments that Mr. Hart made. A few years ago, we had T-shirts printed that I still see around the district that talk about D118 family, you know, the big word family on the back. If ever we saw witness to what D118 family is, it was today. It was today and all week in honoring Mr. Gritton. We are a family. The priest at the Mass today made comment about thanking the teachers, and that so often the teachers are rearing children. And they're certainly adding to what the parents do, but so often it's the teachers that make the impact. And I thought so often we don't tell teachers enough just how important you are. And every word that you say is so important. And if you doubt it, talk to somebody that was at the funeral today or the wake yesterday about how important a teacher can be. So I echo what you said, and thank you, District 118. Thank you for the love that you've shown to the families, but also how you supported one another through this week. It's admirable, and I'm honored to be part of the district as well. With that, we don't have to go back into closed session, so the meeting is adjourned.